Are live. Let's see if we can bring some people into the room. All right. Let's get some in here. All right. We want to bring everybody over to YouTube. Right? Okay, let's see if we can get some people over to YouTube. We are recording, and I believe you can hear me. Let's see. We're going to send people over on Twitter. There we go. All right. Very good. Very good. Where else do we want to invite people? Let's go over to LinkedIn, and we're going to invite some people on LinkedIn just to let them know that we are here, right? Let's let them know. Let's see. Okay, so we are on LinkedIn as well. All right, so we do have someone here. Let's see, who is here? See if we can get some people over. This is probably one of the hardest things, is to get everybody over here to YouTube, right? This is one of the most difficult things. So let's see if we can get everybody over to YouTube. We're just going to give it some time to get some people over here for Ask the Therapist live every Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so let's just say Ask the Therapist live is on YouTube at my channel. Oh, let's see if we can bring some people over. Come on, everybody. Let's come on over here. Let's see if we can share it again on Facebook. We'll just keep sharing it until we bring people. Click the link below to join me. Post. See if we can get some people over here. We need to call people over. Say, all right, we are over here today for Ask the Therapist Live. We are, oh my goodness, things are a little bit of a mess. Let's clean this up. Today on Ask the Therapist Live, every Tuesday from 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are moving over to YouTube, and I just need to meet everybody here. Let's go, everybody. Where's everybody at? And we are supposed to be able to chat over here too. So let's see if we can bring some more people over and get people moving. We are just being patient until we get some more people on the YouTube side, okay? We knew this was going to be a bit of a difficult transition. And once we make this transition, it will be so much easier, right? So I'm going to tag some people for this post and see if we can get some more people over here. For those of you who don't know, Ask the Therapist Live is every Tuesday night where you have an opportunity to ask questions to me, Christy Knights, the therapist, whether it's about love, life, relationships, perhaps it's religion or career, whatever it is that you need to Ask the Therapist live every Tuesday night is your opportunity to do that. So we're trying to move people over from Facebook over to YouTube. We're going to be meeting on YouTube, at least for now. I think I'm going to build the YouTube audience, and then we may move into a different platform down the road. But for right now, we're on YouTube, and let's see if we can build this platform. How does that sound? So for those of you, we are just taking a little bit of time and allowing others to come over. Hey, Sherry, there's Sherry. She's over there. Hey, very good. So good to see Sherry. She's moved over. The other thing you're going to see is I did start my own web TV channel, very cool stuff. You're going to see it on my website at christyknights.com. And I'm using a new platform. It's called Stream Live. And unfortunately, I can't go live on Stream, but what I can do is have my own TV channel essentially that's running about 6 or 8 hours a day. And as I build up content, there'll be more here. There'll be more content on the site, and you'll be able to see all of my content in one place. So I did decide to go ahead and do that. So let's see who else we can tag to get people over here. Let's see, we've got, I'm just tagging people. If you know someone who normally is with us, make sure you tag them to come on over to YouTube and join us in YouTube. I'm doing this very last minute because I want people to get moving. I want people to jump over to YouTube. For those of you who don't have an account, we're here hanging out, and we're going to hang out a little bit longer tonight and just kind of get used to this new place, this new platform for YouTube, right? YouTube is going to give us the ability to grow in numbers, as well as some different features, and also to guarantee a platform that might not just disappear one day. So we are going to really kind of move over here. So let's see, who else do we want to tag? All right. Let's see. Oh, you were at work, Sherry. Well, thank you so much for jumping in. I appreciate that. And I'm so glad that you are here. Thank you so much. We're pulling people over and going to try to get them over to YouTube. I know there's a great amount of you that typically listen on tonight. So let's make this happen. All right. How's things going, Sherry? How have you been? Looking for a job? Yes. All right. Do you have any questions, Sherry? All right, intense EMDR today. Good. EMDR is a great form of therapy. EMDR is a great way to just really dive into some of those difficult times and to really kind of work through it, right? So, you know, I'm proud of you. I think that's awesome. All right, again, we're just kind of hanging out, waiting for our friends to join us, trying to get people over here to YouTube, build the audience here at YouTube Live. You know, Sherry, let me know. Can you hear everything? Are there any difficulties in terms of speech? Is it too slow? You know, it seems like you're able to text. You're able to chat with me still. I am still looking for a way to do it anonymously, and I'm still struggling with that. But I'm hoping with the television station that whenever I get that up and running, that will be much, much better, and people will be able to do those things more anonymously. So we are building. We've got like 3 people here, which is really cool. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start the show, and I'm hoping that we get some more people over to just kind of hang out with us. And if not, we'll continue to announce and we'll build our audience as time goes on. How does that sound? So tonight is Tuesday night, Ask the Therapist Live, where you have the option or the opportunity to sit in the space of a therapist and ask any questions that you may have. It can be about life. Perhaps it's about relationships or family. It is the holidays. Holidays bring lots of anxiety, lots of stress for many of us. Are you one of those people who experience stress at the holidays? Perhaps you experience some difficult times in terms of just managing all of the chaos of the holidays. Holiday blues is not uncommon. Holiday blues can get all of us down, especially whenever there's a change in season and we notice a change in the weather. I've had many people asking me this past week, gosh, I'm just not feeling myself. Do you think it has anything to do with the weather? And absolutely, we see seasonal depression often this time of year. We've talked about this a few times over the last couple of weeks as we're going into the season. Seasonal depression has multiple symptoms. One symptom that seems to be pretty pervasive for many people is, just this overwhelming feeling of fatigue, being tired, unable to have that energy to get moving, and unable to really complete tasks. Sometimes a loss of appetite or difficulty sleeping or sleeping too much, more anxiousness. And really, we only experience it at the time of the season change. All right, Sherry, thank you so much for joining us on your break. Hey, Nathaniel, I'm glad you found us. That is awesome. Hello to everybody at Nathaniel's work. Hello. Thank you for joining Ask the Therapist Live. We hopped over to YouTube and we're going to try to really build the community here in YouTube and bring people over from Facebook to YouTube. So thank you so much for finding us, Nate, and thank you for joining us. And Sherry, have a great night at work. I'll continue to pray for you. So we were just talking about seasonal depression. And as always, if you have a question, please don't hesitate to ask. You can ask it in the comment section, or feel free to send it to me privately on one of these social media platforms. Our goal in this is just a transition today. Tonight we, have some questions, but we're transitioning over to YouTube and then moving into Stream TV. You can see Stream TV, which is a web TV based channel on my current website at christyknights.com. christyknights.com is the website where you'll find my live feed plus also my shows running on a regular basis. You have access to them on the homepage all the time. Now, I just set it up today, so it looks a little rough on the edges. What you're going to notice is more and more content that is running on a regular basis. Right now, it's only running about 6 or 7 hours. So you can actually watch me nonstop for 6 to 7 hours. Crazy, right? It's called Revolution TV, and I named it Revolution TV, really looking at our entire lives 360. So whenever you click on Revolution TV inside my website on the homepage, you're going to see lots of different topics that you can watch, not only live streaming, but also on demand. So on demand, you'll be able to choose various topics. And you're going to see that I'm going to be adding lots of topics over the next few days. In fact, there's a new one that I will be introducing called RevLead 360, RevLead 360. This is where, I'm going to offer just new information around emotional health and the workplace. So the focus will be emotional health in the workplace, and that show is called RevLead 360, and you're going to see that on Stream TV. Also on my Revolution TV, you're going to see all of the podcasts, as well as all of our Facebook Live shows, Ask the Therapist Live. You'll get to see those shows too, and many other skills and things that I like to teach my clients. You will have full access to the content at no cost, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all in one place. Really cool stuff. Again, just launching it In fact, today. So it's a little rough, but we'll get there, right? So what I like about YouTube is you can choose to be anonymous if you want to. You actually don't have to really let anybody know that you're here in the space. If you have a question, you can also create an account under a fictitious name and nobody would know it was you. We are really striving for more confidentiality, more privacy with Ask the Therapist Live, giving you the opportunity to ask questions that perhaps you've been wanting to ask a therapist and haven't been able to. I am going to look at a text feature as well. In fact, Nate and I were talking about that the other day, using some sort of text feature where you could text a question to my cell phone, just like they do perhaps at a professional, at a professional sporting event, or sometimes you see it at church, where you can text something to the leader. And I'm working on that too. I actually just didn't get to that this week. Thank you so much, Nate. Yeah, I totally redid. I totally redid the website. So I don't know what you see on the website right now. I was wanting to stream live from my website. I'm not actually sure if that's happening. I don't think it is. Nate, you said you like the new colors, just hit the website. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think I'm streaming live on my website. I don't think I figured out how to connect that yet. But what we want to do is definitely wonderful, Paula. So you're indicating that it may be a little difficult to get over here on YouTube. My thought was when I shared it, you could just click on YouTube on this. Where is it? My thought was you could just click on the link and go straight over from Facebook. So that maybe that's not the case. And we'll have to play around with this and figure this out as people try to migrate over here. And what I'm going to do is make a promotion so this following week, yes, it is difficult. You had to be in the app to access the chat. Ah, I see. So you're able to watch it, but not access the chat unless you're in the app. Okay, well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Thank you. I appreciate that feedback. So we will look and see how it's going to all work and try to make that transition. But what I've noticed is that, what I've noticed with Facebook is that it's not always private, like we've talked about. So let's get into some questions, because one thing I am going to do is post this into Revolution TV. And like I said, Revolution TV, you'll find on my homepage. And you have a channel now. Hey, I have a channel now. Good. Yes. Finding that channel is really important, and I believe it's going to take everybody a few weeks to come over here. But what I'll do is, following this, is what I'm going to do is actually I'll share this over to Facebook so people know, hey, look, she's on YouTube. Didn't totally just jump ship here, but I'm actually over here on YouTube, and it's going to take us a while. The quality actually looks a little bit better, to be honest. At least on my side, the color quality and the quality of the camera and the streaming actually seems to be a little bit better through YouTube. And I'm sure people who use YouTube all the time are thinking, oh my gosh, no kidding, right? No kidding. So let's dive into just a few questions, because like I said, I am going to, even though this is a transitional week, I am going to record this. We are recording this, and I am going to upload it. Yes, the bit rate is better. Yeah, thank you. That's the technical terms. The bit rate is better. Thank you. And so we want a higher quality, right? We want a higher quality. And I did create a bumper, or like an intro outro. You're going to see that for the Facebook Lives. That was a suggestion by Nate. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It took me about 4 hours to create it, but it was a lot of fun. And I need to trim it down a little bit. It's kind of, I don't know, what's the right word? It's not real professional, but at least it's something. It's a start, and it'll introduce Revolution TV, as well as some different things that we have and things that we offer. So first question tonight. So the first question tonight, as I'm seeing more people come in the room, this is wonderful. I love it. I love seeing people come into the room. So anyways, the first question tonight, and you can tell I'm a little bit off my game. I have to tell you, I have a migraine. My head is killing me, but I wanted to be here. I wanted us to really kind of dive into YouTube. So the first question I got tonight was, it's the holidays, and I don't speak to my mother-in-law, but I will have to see her. How do I handle this? So stress around the holidays is often the case whenever there is conflict in family members. And I understand what you're saying, that you've got to see your mother-in-law, but the relationship is really strained. What do you do? How do you handle that? First and foremost, I applaud you for attending the holiday event, even though there is tension between you and your mother-in-law. I believe that speaks volumes to who you are, your integrity, as well as your commitment to your wife and your willingness to be a part of the family. I am sorry to hear that the relationship is strained, but what you want to do is when you go into that event to try to keep the peace. The holidays are not a time to bring up unresolved issues or to bring up any relationship strains there may be. Instead, what I want you to focus on is I want you to focus on the ability of just sharing space, being there together. If there's enough space within the house, finding a separate area that you can spend other time with other family members, right? Or feeling less confined to that space where she is, being able to find things to do. There are a lot of ways to help out. And oftentimes when we're really busy on the holidays and we're helping get things prepared, then it will relieve some of the tension because it's a distraction instead. So instead of bringing up any of those difficult times or what's straining the relationship, my recommendation is for you just to take a step back and be able to help get ready for the holidays, spend time with other family members, engage with your own family, and give it some space. But my recommendation will be after the holiday. I would love to see you find a way to work out the issues with your mother-in-law. Perhaps they've been there for a long time. I don't know. Perhaps there's something new issues, but regardless, finding ways to work around it or finding ways to work with your mother-in-law and resolve those issues will be what's best for the family if it's possible. You and I know that, working through those issues and forgiving one another leads to such great freedom. And feeling confined by anger and resentment regardless of the issue, really is toxic for the entire family. So my recommendation will certainly be that you work on it, after the holidays. But during the holidays, it's not the time to bring up those issues. So I hope that helps you with your holiday stress. Hope it gives you a sense of relief that you are still in control of your own words, and what you have more than anything is integrity. God calls us to step up and be that person of kindness and love, and represent him in all that we do. And that includes stresses with our family members, especially our mother-in-laws. That's a tough and can be a very complicated relationship. And so how are you doing this week? How was your week? As we get closer to this time of the year, many of us are grieving the loss of loved ones. Many of us are struggling with this being the first holiday without a loved one. What are you doing to work through your grief? What are you doing to celebrate the life of the person that you've lost this past year in 2018? As a therapist, I always recommend that you find a way to celebrate the life of that person in a symbolic way on a holiday. It may look like an empty chair, or it may be a candle lit in the room, a picture frame, perhaps a glass butterfly somewhere in the room. Finding ways to represent this person that you've lost really honors their memory, and also takes the tension out of the room. Many times family members, when they get together the first time after the loss of a loved one, they struggle because nobody knows what to say. Some people don't even want to talk about this person for fear they'll hurt the other person or hurt someone, and it will ruin the holiday. But instead, everybody's thinking the same thing. Like, why can't we talk about this person? Why can't we express how we feel? So really making it intentional that you're celebrating this person's life, that you're bringing up the greatest memories that you had with them on the holiday. Grieving the loss of a loved one is very powerful that first holiday, you've lost them, that first year. So instead of avoiding it, instead of denying it, what I'm asking you to do is I want you to sit in it. I want you to embrace it. And I want you to think of beautiful memories of them last year around the holidays, as well as celebrating their life and what they've brought into this world. That eases the pain some, still very difficult, but it gives it purposeful meaning. My goodness, can you hear that puppy? That puppy is barking. Can you hear him? Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna shut the door so he doesn't bark, or so we don't hear him bark as much. Just 1 second. All right, I'm back. All right. Okay, so other questions, other things that we want to, thank you, Paula, yes. So Paula, you've had a really, a difficult year for sure, losing your father. You're going to display a ceramic Christmas tree that you painted for your parents many years ago. You had received it when you sorted through Christmas items before selling their house. I love that. I think that's a beautiful way to just memorialize who they are and capture the essence of their memory. Both mom and dad have passed, and your dad this past year, and we will definitely be thinking about you and praying for you during this time because we know it is just so difficult. It is just so difficult. Other questions, other things that are on your mind, things that you would want to ask or concerns that you have. The next question that I have from this week is, hello, Christy. My daughter is giving me a very difficult time. She's been in and out of school, really struggling. In fact, the school is tired of her and she's been suspended multiple times. What can we do? What do you think about cyber? Okay, so talking about our children and the stresses of our children, as parents, it is our responsibility to raise healthy children who contribute to society. God gifts us with these beautiful children for such a short period of time. But with that being said, it is the toughest job in the world. It is so hard to raise a child. I have 3 children of my own. I have a stepdaughter, Katie, who is 16. I have a son that is 17 and a daughter that is 18. So I totally get it. What this woman is sharing, what this person is sharing is that she's really struggling with her daughter. Her daughter is, not attending school regularly. She's giving the school a difficult time. The school has just about had it. She's had multiple detentions around her behavior, and she's wondering, what are the options? She doesn't want her daughter to get kicked out of school. There's a little bit more of a backstory here that she shares, and her daughter is a senior. She wants her daughter to be successful, but her daughter's struggling in school. So what can she do? First and foremost, is your daughter struggling with some sort of emotional health issue, a mental health issue? Is she struggling with anxiety, depression, perhaps some other issues that we're not aware of that may be causing these behaviors? We want to look at medically, is there anything going on? So we're going to rule some things out before we just give her the label of some brat that doesn't want to go to school. Oftentimes, kids are having some true issues, some true concerns, and that's the reason they're acting out. As adults, we owe it to them to give them the time and space to figure out what's going on. So if it's something like anxiety and depression, we want you to get that treated. Seek that support with a therapist. Seek that support with some outside guidance to help get her footing again. And then, what are your options academically? If school is a stressor, is there bullying going on? Is the academic work too intense? Is there issues with the teacher? There are so many questions that need to be answered before we can say, okay, let's do this. But what I want you to do is make sure you take that time to truly ask those questions. Invest in your child. They are important. They are essential to really, that place of joy in our lives, right? So we want you to teach your child value. When you arrive at a reason that perhaps she's having a hard time in school, your options are certainly to look at cyber school. If the school is actually threatening to remove her, a cyber program or an online program may be your best option. My daughter, after several illnesses, missed a lot of school. Her attendance was very poor. Her grades began to drop, and we looked at the alternative of cyber school. She did cyber school for part of her junior year, and then she was doing much better, feeling much better, went into her senior year and began to struggle again. And I pulled her again, and she's doing cyber. So sometimes when our kids are struggling, there's alternative education that's a better fit for them. Excuse me. So I would definitely look into cyber and what your school allows, and if they're willing to pay for that. Where we're at, they pay for her to go to cyber school. This has been a great alternative. So that's one of your options. In the community that I'm in, we also have the option of dropping her off or going to a school at a local learning center where she is actually monitored. A student is monitored and they sit in front of a computer all day, and there's tutors that walk around the room. So it's a little bit more restrictive, a little bit more structured, but it's not your typical environment in school. Other schools will offer half-day programs. So perhaps she's not able to stay in school all day due to the stress, but maybe she's able to stay into school for half a day. Looking at that program, does your school offer that program where she could go a half a day and learn and get her core subjects in and then go home? So don't be afraid to look at other alternatives than traditional education. Oftentimes we are quick as parents to say, suck it up and go to school. What's the big deal? We all did it, right? But see, we each learn differently. We each have different struggles. When you're able to open the doors to other opportunities for your children to learn in ways that may be non-traditional, their opportunity for success is even greater. It's up to us as parents to be open-minded and willing to explore those options, to show them that they are incredibly valuable, that they hold value in our lives, and to teach them what's the best way for them to learn. This is high school. Perhaps they're going to go on to a technical school or college or even into a job. They need to understand what's the best avenue of learning for them. This is a great teaching tool as well. Many life lessons all packed in to this one decision. It's a major decision, and I'm sure you're really stressed about it. However, you have options. So utilize your options so that it's an opportunity for both of you to grow instead of becoming overwhelmed and stressed. It's easy as parents to get buried in these decisions that we make for our kids, right? Do you have any questions, any concerns, anything that you want to share for Ask the Therapist Live tonight? We've got a few people over, but we don't have everybody over just yet, right? So we are going to really make a public announcement for people to learn how to come over here from Facebook. And I am just checking to see if I have any questions. Okay, so I've got some questions, but they actually want me to call them. So that's not going to work for here on Facebook Live. Let's see. Nothing on Instagram. Very good. All right, so I don't have anything on social media. Do you have any questions? Is there anybody that you want to invite? Anybody you want to invite over here? All right, so the next question I received was regarding employment. This person says, I'm struggling at work. I often have difficulties with anxiety and my boss just doesn't get it. How do I talk to my boss about my mental health issues? Okay, really, really good question. what we are learning, what I'm learning is there are very little emotional health programs within your workplace. We've touched on this before. You're going to see me get really passionate about it over the next few weeks to a month. I'm creating a part of this channel that I'm doing for Revolution TV is called Rev Lead 360. Rev Lead 360 is going to answer these questions on a regular basis. My hope is to go live on YouTube at least 4 to 5 times a week for 3 to 5 minutes only to answer this type of question for not only employees, but also for employers on how they can really support their workplace and support their employees in emotional health. So you're sharing with me that you have anxiety, you struggle with anxiety, it affects your work, you'd like to have this discussion with your boss, but you don't know how to do it. Some of the fears with sharing with our boss or our supervisors that we're struggling mentally is the stigma. What will my boss think if he knows or she knows I'm struggling mentally? Will it change the way they treat me? Will it keep me from getting promotions? Perhaps it'll lead me to a place where I'm not respected. Or maybe my boss will tell other people that I struggle with anxiety. There are many reasons it's difficult to talk to our boss about mental health issues or emotional health issues. So how do you begin to do this? First and foremost, I want you to quiet the anxiety within yourself first. What we know is that over 42 million people struggle with depression and anxiety. You're not alone. That statistic itself is an indicator that your boss very well may have struggled with depression and anxiety or anxiety as well. So quieting your spirit, reminding yourself that you are not alone. 2, knowing that your integrity is everything and all you want to do is work hard and commit to your employer, but there's something standing in the way. Expressing this to your employer will be beneficial. How do you start that conversation? The first thing you're going to do is talk with your employer and say, I've noticed my work, I've noticed I've been more anxious when I arrive at work, or I've noticed I've been more anxious in the afternoon. I was trying to figure out what it is, but I've noticed it's affecting my work. I was wondering if you've noticed anything, or I've decided to go see a therapist and learn ways to deal with my anxiety. So you're sharing what you're experiencing and you're also sharing a solution. Perhaps you don't know what to do, then asking for that support. Now, many places do have EAP programs or they have human resources, but opening up that dialogue and being brave and courageous to say something most times will only result in positive. It will result in an employer, a boss, a manager being chances are more empathetic than not. So you setting that example is really important, although it may cause anxiety, right? It may be difficult for you to do that. It will then open up that dialogue for other people, setting in motion what you need in that support. And employers can support people with emotional health concerns through providing, appropriate work environment, by providing a positive culture, allowing for breaks where people can socialize, not expecting beyond, a ridiculous amount of hours, teaching employees they're valued, bringing in mental health programs to teach those skills, being mindful, providing solutions. So these are all different ways that employers can actually help employees. Having that conversation, although it may make you even more anxious, opens that door to begin that process within your workplace. So I hope that was helpful. It's very general. If you want something more specific, I can certainly send you more specific, but just to, wrap it up a little bit, is number one, I want you to reassure yourself that you are absolutely normal. People have these issues all the time. It's very, very common. So number one, it's very common. 2, reminding yourself that you are, brave, you are courageous to be able to do this. 3, you will open up doors to create communication and a healthier work environment by sharing this with your employer. 4, you're going to have your needs met. Whenever you go to your boss and you're able to express them, the chances of your needs being met are greater than not saying anything at all. Now, granted, not all bosses are created equal. I totally get that. And perhaps you run into a roadblock. Come back and let me know. But first and foremost, I want you to at least attempt the conversation. Attempt to have that by just being transparent, being vulnerable, as scary as it is, and sharing what your struggles are, how it's affecting your work, and that you desire a solution to this and you are looking for their support. And I always encourage employers to try to find ways to adapt, to try to find ways to meet the needs of their employees, especially if they're good employees. It's much more cost effective to permit an employee to have some accommodations than it is to go through an entire process of hiring someone new, right? All right. So other questions that you may have. As always, it's Tuesday night, Ask the Therapist Live, where you have an opportunity to ask me any questions, whether it is love, relationships, family, perhaps it's about work or anxiety, depression, self-confidence, whatever it may be, this is the platform for you. Normally, we host this on Facebook Live. However, we're making a transition here to YouTube, and then all of the Ask the Therapist Lives, you're going to find them at christyknights.com on the Revolution TV channel. And you'll see that right on my homepage. My whole Facebook had a complete facelift, and I know I did it again. Just really struggling with the colors of my Facebook. My brand wasn't feeling me. It wasn't feeling like who I am. So I did a lot of research around color and branding over the last week or so. I love red, but see, red is such a powerful color that it really sometimes takes away from the softer side of me. And I wanted to be able to express that although red is powerful and strong, there is a very soft side of who I am in my brand and what I want to convey. So I discovered different colors that complement red, where red is your pop color, right? And then you surround it with other neutrals that complement red. So you'll see a totally different look to my Facebook page. Please give feedback. It's very different. But I'm liking it. And what you're going to see on the homepage is Revolution TV. Very cool. It runs continuous with different shows that I have done, different videos that I have done, and there will be new content added all the time. If there's something specific you want to hear, then let me know, and I will create a video around the content you're looking for. Probably by the end of this week, I will release to you the actual link to Revolution TV. So you will be able to see exactly what's all on the channel. Right now, it's pretty limited, but by the end of the week, I hope to have it all ready to go. So I can share that link to Stream TV, Revolution TV, where you'll get to see all the shows that are going on my channel. And it'll be running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Really cool stuff, right? I'm having a lot of fun with it. So any questions that you have? We've got a few people over here. Obviously, people have not all found us. We are definitely going to want to market and advertise that we're over here on YouTube. From what I understand, I actually have to have 1,000 viewers at one time, 1,000 followers in order to stream this live on my website. So YouTube used to allow you to stream your videos live anywhere. And they just changed some of those regulations. And one of the regulations they changed is you're no longer allowed to stream anywhere. You have to stay on YouTube unless you have 1,000 subscribers. So right now I have 42. It's going to take us some time to get to that, but I think we'll really like this platform better. It's just going to take some time to get people over here. Tonight, tomorrow, over this next week, really going to advertise it and market it and teach people how to come over here and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. Everything on YouTube is going to be uploaded to Revolution TV. Really cool. Any questions tonight? Do you have anything that you want to ask, whether it's about relationships or religion or perhaps work? Is there anything that you have? I don't see any other questions on social media. All right. Thank you, Paula, for sharing my post on Facebook to get people over here. All right. So I do have a question. Okay. I currently have an employee who is oversharing in regards to his feelings about depression and suicidal thoughts, which is making other employees uncomfortable. How would you address that while not making him feel unheard or unwanted? This is a really good question. Thank you for this question. How often do we see that in our workplace when there is someone who overshares? They share more than they really should, and it tends to be a little inappropriate. People around us feel uncomfortable. Perhaps we feel uncomfortable. How do we address it when someone is oversharing? If you're a manager, that makes it a little easier. The opportunity to pull that person aside and say, hey, look, I noticed that you're really sharing a lot. I appreciate that you're able to talk about this, and I appreciate how courageous you're being. I want to be able to offer you help and support. And how can I help you? How can I support you? And as you're having this conversation, then being able to say, sometimes it's uncomfortable for other people to hear what you're talking about. So it's going to be best for you if you and I can talk about this. If you need that space, let's meet and I can check in with you as your boss, as your supervisor, and we can talk about this on a weekly basis. Giving that person a space and time for you to check in and show them value is useful. Being able to teach them that socially it's not appropriate. You have to be careful. You don't want to hurt their feelings or offend them, but they probably just don't know, or they're not aware they're making others feel uncomfortable. So being honest with them, saying there may be others who are not able to talk about this, who are not comfortable with this topic. But it's important to me, and it's important that you're heard and you feel valued. So you and I'm going to check in on you. And then I want you to be able to find someone that you can talk to, whether that's a therapist, like who is your support system. Giving them a support system gives them that space to talk about it, and they may not then talk about it in the workplace. The other opportunity to teach is the people who have expressed to you that they're not comfortable hearing it, and they're not comfortable with how much this person's talking about it, teaching them to have a voice by saying, hey, look, I'm really sorry that you're going through that. If there's anything I can do, let me know, but I really need to focus on my work. Or, hey man, it looks like you really need to talk about this. Why don't we, go out and, take a walk in the park or get a cup of coffee and talk about it afterwards. Teaching the other employees around to have a voice is really important too. Otherwise, that one person is toxic to the entire culture of the workplace. And that's what we want to really try to rein in, is we want you to have a positive culture at work. And when there's one person really that's toxic in that environment, to address that person, as well as teaching the whole group how to have a voice, to really be able to express that they're struggling with that person oversharing. And then that person understanding what causes them to overshare, and it just may be uncomfortable for the rest of them. That's part of establishing a really positive culture. I hope that helps. If there's anything else I can do, let me know. quickly looking at your steps, the first thing to do is just to validate that person privately. Let them know that you hear their concerns. Offer professional support to help get them connected. Offer weekly check-ins so they know that they are valued as a supervisor, right? You're checking in with them, making sure that they're doing everything they can, and then teaching them the social skill that sometimes it's not appropriate to talk about those things in the workplace because it's uncomfortable for others. And then having a general meeting with everybody and just expressing, look, at times we may talk about different things, and if they're not comfortable for you, please, we want you to come forward and we want you to say that. We want you to be able to have a voice. We don't want one person or another to dominate the environment that can be negative or toxic in some way. So teaching them how to have a voice is that final step. Because remember, you're cultivating a culture each time you address an issue within the workplace. It sets the tone. Now, don't worry, you're going to make mistakes and it's going to be a little cumbersome, but we can always tweak it so that it is a healthier workplace across time. We all know that person who's toxic and or struggling. And when they're struggling, they're just talking way too much. That's definitely an indication of someone that probably doesn't have much of a support system and needs that added professional help. So I hope that helps. So other questions, other things you wanted to share tonight. Again, Ask the Therapist Live every Tuesday, where we get an opportunity to share with our tribe what's going on in our work, some of the struggles we may have had, or questions that you have. Following this, it will be posted here in Facebook. I'm going to share it, in YouTube. I'm going to share it in Facebook to draw in that attention so people know that on Tuesdays, we're actually going to be here in YouTube and help everybody get used to this platform so they know that I didn't just abandon everybody. Yes, thank you, Nate. I think the weekly check-in is really useful. It really teaches value. And I'm not sure why it wasn't letting you post either. We're going to play around with this and see. I'm on a laptop, so to me, I haven't had any issues, but from a mobile device, it may be harder to use YouTube. You may have to download the app rather than go online and put it in the website. I'm not sure. I'll look at the different platforms. So I didn't do a ton of, I did a ton of research, but I didn't do a ton of marketing and advertising that I was moving over, right? I just kind of hopped over here. And I did that just to kind of test it a little and see, how difficult it would be for people. It'll take us a few weeks and it's the holidays. So next Tuesday is actually Christmas, right? So, I don't think I'm going to be on Christmas, but I'm not positive. I'd like to say that I'm going to relax, but the way our Christmas falls, you know what? I probably won't be on Christmas because my husband's parents are coming into town and I really want to be able to focus on them. Now, if for some reason they take a nap, maybe I'll hop on for a little bit and at least send a Christmas message. How's that sound? All right. So thank you so much for joining tonight on Ask the Therapist Live, where you have the opportunity to ask any question to a therapist. Each week we meet here and gather as a tribe where we have an opportunity to feel like we are supported, cared for, and loved, and grow each and every week. So please, if you are regularly here on Facebook and now you're joining us on YouTube, share this out onto Facebook. Let everybody know that we are moving over here to YouTube. We are going to build the most incredible audience here on YouTube. We want to be able to stream live on multiple platforms. So that means we need 1,000 subscribers, right? We've got 42. So, and to be honest, I've not really marketed my YouTube very much. But because I'm doing Revolution TV, now I will market my YouTube and that'll be more exclusive. Sometimes I get a little weary of social media. I don't know about you, but sometimes, I don't even want to go on Facebook or Instagram. And if it wasn't for business, I just wouldn't do it at all, right? So I think we're going to like YouTube. It just takes some getting used to. And I want you to watch on Revolution TV, which you'll find at christyknights.com, as I add really cool things like RevLead 360, RevLead 360, where you will receive tips for the workplace on how to manage your emotional health and how to encourage your employees to have a healthy culture. So that's RevLead 360, and you are going to see lots of different videos for that. Ask the Therapist Live. I'm creating a playlist whenever you are stressed, depressed, or anxious. I'm creating a beautiful playlist for you to listen to that you can stream into your home. So lots of really cool things happening on Revolution TV, which is the new web-based TV station that I launched today. All right, everybody. Well, it was great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me here on YouTube. As always, have an amazing week, and I will miss you next week if I don't hop on. It is the holidays. Embrace that time with your family. Embrace that time with the people that you love. Remember, the reason for this season is the birth of Jesus Christ and the amazing gift he has given us of grace, love, forgiveness, and the ability to just be in this world and spread his word. So use that time wisely. And thank you so much for being here each and every week, because without you, this would not be possible. And have an amazing week, my dear friends. Bye.